Welcome to SerpentSong Sanctuary. I'm Xanna Seto, and I am so glad you're here. Today, we are going to make one of my favorite side dishes from my childhood. This is something that my grandmother in Germany and my mother used to make. And it is holiday appropriate, I would say, especially since it's so rich that I don't think that I would eat it on a daily basis. What, this? Oh, well, this is kohlrabi. And this happens to be the kohlrabi that I grew this year. So you may have noticed the montage that I play sometimes has a nice sweeping shot of this kohlrabi. And this is from that crop. I harvested this probably almost 2 months ago. So this is a very, very long lasting vegetable as far as storage goes, winter storage. So it's one that will keep for a while in your pantry or in your fridge. Now, it actually grows like this. Down here is a short-ish stalk that goes down to the root. And then up here is where new sprouting leaves come out. And all of these stripes that you see here are where the leaf stalks used to be. Now the leaves are edible, but of course those are long gone. They're not as long keeping as the actual bulb of the plant. So I had a bunch of these I needed to use. And I actually did this video earlier this week. And honestly, it didn't come out quite as good as I'd hoped. So I'm doing it again. And I have to say that that is one thing about cooking, especially learning to cook young, that really helped me in many other areas of my life. Because learning to fail gracefully and to learn from mistakes taught me not only how to use mistakes and missteps as tools for growth, but it also taught me to take some more risks, to be more adventurous, because I looked at, I wouldn't say failures, but I looked at setbacks or challenges as just that. Setbacks or challenges along the path forward, along the path of growth. So, yay for cooking. All right, so let's go ahead and dig in. I want to save this particular one for photo ops later. So I'm going to put this one off to the side, but I do have a few more that we're going to use to cook today. I have 3 slightly smaller ones. So let me show you how to work around these guys. First of all, you're going to cut off that stem end, and that tends to be a little woodier. And then we'll also cut off the sprout end. And then what I like to do is just kind of slice thinly around the sides. And if you like, you can use a potato peeler to get off any residual skin. And the skin tends to be very stringy, so you definitely want to get that off. This is not one of those vegetables where it's optional to eat the skin, not at all. All right, and then what I'd like to do with this, some people cube them, which is fine. I kind of want to go for more of a scalloped feel. So I'm going to cut in half because these are small. Some are so large you might want to quarter them. And then I'm going to do some really thin slices because it's really important that these get cooked all the way through. There we are. Right, I'm gonna peel and slice the rest of these up, and then we'll get over to the stove and do some cooking. Okay, here we are over at the stove. I've got some water boiling on the back of the stove. So as I said before, it's really important that these are cooked until they're absolutely tender. They're no fun to eat when they're hard. And it's one of the things that happened on take one of this video. So I am going to go ahead and put these into some boiling water and get them boiled until they're kind of translucent is what you're looking for. So I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, these are just translucent. A fork stuck through goes through pretty easily. I'm going to strain these. I'm going to heat about 2 tablespoons-ish of olive oil over medium-high heat. Add in about 2 large cloves of garlic, minced, coarsely minced. And just let that infuse into the oil just a bit. Don't want to burn it. Got some green onion, just the white part right now. Maybe about 2 if they're small, or 1 if they're large. So just the white part for now. Add the kohlrabi back in. Give that a stir. Lovely. I'm going to turn the heat down pretty low. You know, the cast iron holds a lot of heat already. So turn that heat down pretty low and add just a little bit of salt, maybe, I don't know, half a teaspoon, somewhere in there. A little bit of pepper. Let's just season the kohlrabi up front. Because like I said, it is a bland vegetable. It has its own taste, it's just not very dominant, and will take on the taste of whatever its bedfellows with, basically. All right, so let that go. I'm gonna let that caramelize for just a moment, and we'll get started on the sauce. It's a 1-to-1 ratio of butter to flour, because I'm using vegan butter and gluten-free flour, of course, because it's me. I'm choosing to use 1/3 of a cup of butter and 1/3 of a cup of flour. Now, this is the basis to so many different sauces. We are just going to cook it until it comes together and use it as a thickener for a white sauce, a bechamel sauce actually. Bechamel because we're adding nutmeg. If you don't add nutmeg, it's a white sauce. If you cook it until the flour browns, it's a brown sauce. You can add any kind of broth you want. If you swing that way, you can go to meat broth. You can add vegetable broth for a beautiful vegetable white sauce. And if you want a cheese sauce, once you take it off the heat, at the very end of cooking the white sauce, then you add shredded cheese of your choice. All right, I'm going to turn the heat off for a moment and just begin to add in some flour. Whoops, well, it all added in, but that's okay. Heat's off. We're going to go ahead and get this kind of root up. I turn the heat off so I don't get clumps. Get it all mixed in, get the flour all mixed in nicely. Because I prefer dairy-free, I'm going with an unsweetened nut milk, and it's macadamia nut for me. I'm just going to add in a little bit first while the heat is off, just to begin to get it mixing in to the liquid. All right. And then I'm going to turn my heat back on very low. Very low. There we are. And continue to mix in liquid until it is the consistency that I want it. So this is going to vary depending on the flour that you use. Now I did use unsalted butter, so I will be adding salt. If you use salted butter, be sure that you taste it before you add salt or as you're adding the salt, so that you don't oversalt the sauce. So this is also a great base for like pot pies, if you're doing veggie or, you know, other pot pies. And seafood with the bechamel sauce, and I add just a little bit more. My last one was a little too thick for my taste. So just a little stir. Oh yeah, there we go. Now things are starting to caramelize just a bit. Okay, lovely. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it off the heat again because this is about as thick as I want it, and I don't want lumps. Maybe just a tiny bit more. I think I'm going to go with, oops, yeah, about a tablespoon. What that looks like. Maybe even just a tiny bit more. About a tablespoon and a half, maybe. Okay. Let me do it. Oh, I love that. Ooh, buttery taste. Definitely not something I'm going to eat on a daily basis. And I'm also going to grind in pepper to taste. And then, of course, what brings the sauce to bechamel is the nutmeg. And I prefer to freshly grate nutmeg. Nutmeg is one of those aromatics that will lose its potency pretty quickly if you have it pre-ground. So, yeah, and I am going to be kind of liberal with it. So, we're going to bring this up to, probably a good teaspoon to begin. And then taste. and go from there. Okay, let's taste this. Nice. Okay, so you'll be noticing how absolutely monotone white this is, this dish. So just at the very end of the caramelization, I'm going to drop in some green onion just because, hey, I like some diversity in my meals. I want to see some colors and some textures. And, variety is the spice of life. Alright. Okay. So we've got this lovely bechamel. And we've got these beautiful nicely caramelized Kohlrabi, as in Germany. Now I suspect I might have made a little more sauce than I need for this amount of kohlrabi, so I'm going to add a little bit. I might even need to thin this out with just a bit of broth. Yeah, just take it, a little bit of veggie broth. Give it a little bit more of a creamy consistency without being too cloying. I don't want that. Oh yeah, there we go. And here it is. So we have this beautiful kohlrabi that is first boiled to tenderize and then caramelized with some garlic and a lovely bechamel sauce that it's a super versatile sauce. So like I said before, it tastes like you've been slaving all day making this complicated sauce, and it really whips up in no time. So it's always a winner. But right now, let's go ahead and dig into this and see how it tastes. Although I already did get a good taste at the stove earlier. So let's see what we got here. Good texture. Yeah. Maybe a tad too much garlic. I think I'd dial back the garlic next time. Or dial up the kohlrabi. The sauce is nice and a little bit too much, sorry. The sauce is nice and creamy without being sticky. The nutmeg comes through, as does the pepper. It's adding a nice little kind of brightness. I garnished with some parsley from the garden and a little bit of roasted pepper just to bring out the color a little bit more. Because like I said, it's a little kind of dull on its own. But you can dress it up to make it more visual, because of course we do eat with our eyes just as much as we do with our taste and our belly. Yes. So there you have it. A very simple and versatile sauce that can go a number of ways depending on the application that you want to use it for. Kohlrabi, it's just also a very versatile vegetable. I've seen it in curries, I've seen it sautéed, I've seen it in soups, I've seen it mashed even, pureed like potatoes. So lots of things you can do with that strange looking vegetable that you get in the CSA box, or kind of give the side eye in the grocery store. So no more. Now you're familiar, and go for it. Be adventurous. And, you know, take a chance. Take a chance on making a misstep and learning and doing it all over again. And having it only come out better because of the lessons you learned. That's how I feel today. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Until we meet again, I want you to be nourished, be inspired, and be transformed. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.